I am dressed for Antarctica and it's like 60 degrees, but it
Oh
feels
my
cold,
gosh.
man. It's been cold. When the sun goes down here, you know how it is. The fog rolls in. It's just cold.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels cold for sure in Santa
Mhm.
Cruz, like at 60. Yeah, I think it's all the moisture in the air, but
For sure, which you don't ever feel, but like when we look at that like precipitation thing or the humidity, I'm always surprised how humid it says it is because it doesn't ever feel humid because I guess
yeah,
it just doesn't get that hot.
right. Exactly.
When I think of humid, I think of like Florida, Hawaii, like something like that. I don't think of Santa Cruz at all.
No, yeah, absolutely not. But, it's right next to a large body of water, the ocean. So I guess there's more moisture in the air than we would imagine.
Yeah.
How's 75 hard?
Oh, it's when I'm not feeling 100, it's definitely a challenge, but I think I'm on day 57 maybe. I have under 3 weeks to go. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Yesterday, and again, it's a blessing. Like it got me out, I had to do an outdoor workout. So I took my dogs down to the beach and it's the coolest thing because well, I go all different places, usually by Rio, but sea lions will come and like swim with me and the dogs. As me and the dogs are walking, they're like swimming with us. And it's like, I think they want to play with the dogs. Like it's super cute. So I love it. It always makes me really happy to just like be, out walking my dogs and sea lions. I consider them mine.
Why don't you go play with the sea lions? Get out
I
there.
would like to. But you know what's kind of got me freaked out is in the last couple weeks, I've seen two huge dead ones on the beach, like 500 pounds, like two of them. And I'm hoping it's not like some mass, I don't know, exodus of animals out of the ocean, but seeing two of them in 2 weeks, big ones too, is kind of sad.
Yeah, that is
But
sad. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're not very nice. Don't go play with them. Yeah, they would
sea
probably
lions aren't nice. Are you
sea
sure?
lions, sea otters, sea lions.
Sea otters are super cute too.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think sea lions are super nice, actually.
Well, the ones that walk with me are. They're my
Hence,
friends. I've
hence
already named
the
them.
hence lion. In the name there.
However, I do hear they're more like the dogs of the ocean. Like sea lions are like
Yeah,
equivalent to a dog. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I shouldn't really comment. I'm not sure if they're nice or not. But
Well, I know I'm not going to just get out there in the ocean and swim around with them to find out. But I do watch the surfers out there, and everyone gets along great, except for the sharks. And then we got a problem.
yeah, and they're
Yeah,
out there.
they are. They
Yeah.
are. I mean, that was when I saw yesterday's sea lion. I could see bite marks out of him. I'm like, oh
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, he might have got.
At one point, well, he's still alive, so he wasn't got. He
He was
was.
dead on the beach. The one that I'm
Oh,
talking
that one.
about was like
Oh,
dead on the beach. So he
oh,
might
never
might
mind.
not have.
Yeah, a lot of them have battle scars. They're always the. Who knows what goes on out there.
Yeah, yeah. It's nothing I want to mess around with, man. I learned about how powerful that ocean is in the hard way, and I'm not
Oh
inclined
yeah,
to do that again. Yeah.
for sure. So, what do you want to talk about today?
I we want to remain nonpartisan, like we're not going to talk politically. However, I was pleasantly surprised with the RFK joining because his big push is healthcare for our country and how we take care of our people, knowledge on foods, oils, all the stuff. Like he has a lot of attention on healthcare. And since we're in the healthcare field, but also we're both very healthcare minded, for
Mhm.
me, that just makes me feel really good that someone's going to be overseeing this part of the country. Whereas, like before, with the last health secretary, you could look at that person and go, they're not. They're not leading from the front. You can tell their health
Yeah.
is not good, and therefore I would not follow that, nor would I listen. But now, like seeing RFK and seeing how well he takes care of himself and knowing that he's leading this, it
Yeah.
gives me some comfort and hope that we could really start to reverse a lot of what we've seen in the healthcare field.
hmm Yeah, I'm excited that RFK is going to have a role in the healthcare system for sure. He's in great shape, and I uh, had been a big RFK supporter, and yeah, when he endorsed Trump, it was like he saw that it was his only chance of, making a change, making a big change, and he couldn't pass it up. And yeah, and he's really he's really he's got a lot of great ideas on how to clean up the healthcare system. And he's definitely into a lot of the same things I think we're into, as far as, yeah, just eating clean and what that really means. What is really healthy eating. There's a lot of conflicting information out there. Certain specialists say that, you know, you want to reduce your cholesterol, whereas other specialists are saying, don't worry about cholesterol. It's not necessarily a marker that we need to be scared of. There's big polarized, uh, sides of things. So yeah, I'm excited to see uh, what he can do. And yeah, I think when I think about like my kid in the grocery store and he sees some cereal that he wants or something, and I would love to pick up that box of cereal and not have to worry about what's in it, you know?
Right. Or the 100 ingredients that you can't pronounce and you don't know what they are, but yet somehow this is the building block of our food pyramid. It makes no sense. Like all this stuff over these last few years just haven't logically made sense. I'm excited to get behind something that actually makes sense. And we
Yeah.
see the results proven over and over and over again.
Yeah. And yeah, it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be like I shouldn't have to go to war with my son on like, no, like we shouldn't eat these, and
Right.
he's like, but look, it looks good. And like all of the little 5-year-old debate, trying to push you and making a big old scene about it. Uh,
Yeah.
and I mean, it would be so nice to just not have to have those worries, because those ingredients could be changed. They could be banned, like they are banned in other countries. And yeah, so I think that's, one of the things RFK wants to work on in this country is, yeah, getting some of these ingredients banned that are known carcinogens, and they're just known to disrupt our health. Uh, so that's going to be super exciting. Maybe in a few years, I won't have that same worry. I think there's a lot of work. I have no idea what that would take to to have that moment that I'm talking about, like where my son is like, I want that cereal, and it looks all like,
Yeah.
crazy, like, it's got all the like, the kids' fun colors and stuff, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have all the bad food dyes in it, and it's not made with like super garbage ingredients,
Yeah.
because there are alternate versions of the same thing. Um, yeah, so hopefully something like that is our future in this country. So
It's going to be interesting to see how this works with like what Bill Gates has been trying to do, which is, eliminate meat, calling it like our biggest problem, and then replacing it with all the the fake meats that we know contain all those colors, dyes, additives, carcinogens, all that kind of stuff. And obviously Bill Gates has a lot of money, so it's going to be interesting to see how those how they reconcile one another, or if it becomes a thing or it doesn't become a thing.
yeah, the yeah, that I saw some clips on him explaining like why we need to go in that direction, and it's doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's 6% emissions, like what cows emit. Uh, it only makes up 6%, right? And so that doesn't seem like a dramatic enough impact to get everyone to switch to eating like fake meat,
Which is
Impossible
infused with all
Burger.
this other stuff that is like, yeah, the dyes to make it look like a burger, the fake flavors they add to make it taste like a burger. Like, yeah, you're
Mhm.
right. It doesn't seem to match. Just eat the real thing if this is what you want, not the fake thing that's pretending to be that thing, which is actually going to make you sicker.
And that's if the science of cholesterol,
Mm,
it would be healthier if cholesterol was a serious threat. And there's a lot of information, or I don't want to say a lot, and I don't have anything to cite here on your channel, but from what I'm hearing is it's not as big of a worry as our healthcare system has made out cholesterol to be. They want to put you on a statin, right?
mm.
Right away, if you have high cholesterol
Yeah, I
and
mean, it seems to me like
permanently.
diabetes is way worse.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, there's no way fake meat could be better. you know Sticking close to the earth has always been like a great rule of thumb, like staying to the outside of the grocery store because that's where the meats and the vegetables and the fruit are. I
Yeah.
remember I saw something funny on like a reel or something on Instagram. Somebody was saying like if your grocery store has a health food section, then what the heck is the rest of the place? Like
Right?
what is the rest of the store then, right?
Yeah.
That's like mind blowing, right? So
Yeah.
the entire rest of the store is not health food,
Exactly. Which is
all
frightening. But
processed.
again, this is where the education comes in, which, you and I have done deep dove experts, our personal, trial and error. Like we've gone pretty deep in this, but I don't, and we're also in California, so we have a lot of availability of good foods, which I know for myself, I take for granted a lot of times because I'll talk to people in other states and they're like, do you know how far I have to travel to get to a store where I can even buy organic or grass
Yeah,
fed or any of the things? And I'm like, oh shit, I have like 10 of those in my backyard. But it's something that I think we take for granted that the rest of the United States isn't to this level. And it's much harder for them to attain healthy foods or even know what healthy foods are because they don't have the same sort of
yeah,
education that we've taught ourselves through all this stuff. So I think that's got to get out there first and foremost, is like the reality of foods and their impact on our bodies, and really whether they're detrimental or not, because even protein, like pea protein, and I get like not wanting to harm animals. Obviously I'm the biggest animal lover in the planet, and it can be, I have to disassociate myself from eating the animal, but at the same time, I know that's the best possible form of protein for me and my body. Um, and there's nothing that can replicate that to the degree that your body needs.
right. Yeah, it's just more bioavailable than like plant protein. They're not absorbing as much of,
Mm.
you're eating a meal with, 20 grams plant protein, and then only like 5 grams of that is actually uh, able to be utilized in the body. So then it's not the best source. Yeah, and yeah, I'm not necessarily against people, making that choice to eat, vegan or vegetarian. But yeah, I feel way better, with high amounts of like eggs and beef in my diet.
Yeah.
Like energy wise, and I recover good from exercise when I have higher amounts of those things in my diet. And yeah, just trying to knock out all the processed stuff. There's certain processed things that I do like this little soda I'm drinking right now. Little Olipop.
You love that one.
So yeah, it's not. I mean, it's processed because there's a lot of ingredients in it, but there are not. It could be way, way worse. There's nothing that's like stands out as awful. But anyways,
I love Zevia. That is like
yeah.
my favorite because, I've been keto for a really long time. Now I'm actually just calling a spade a spade. Like, why not go all in on carnivore, Angie? Me, and I'm talking to myself. Protein has always been meat's always been my favorite food group. Dairy right behind it. So why not just stay with what you love? Why am I trying to force like different fruits and vegetables so I have a balanced diet? I'm kind of feeling this whole just like go with what I love. Why not? It's perfect. And I will say after aftershock, I had been going on that turkey bacon and it's, spiritually better and all this stuff. I went and bought some real bacon this week and I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
man, I really do love bacon. I get it. I love it. I love meat, but I think it's interesting and I would love for you to talk about because I'm not a total expert on it, but on why vegetables like kale and these things, which highly publicized as superfoods and necessities for our diet, might not actually be the best thing for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all goes back to this one influencer really that's like kind of changed the world, and Paul Saladino, um, who's what started as a carnivore and then um, started to incorporate. He's changed his diet now. It's called an animal-based diet, and so that's meat and fruit and raw honey and raw dairy.
Mm-hmm.
That's his diet now, and his theory is um, how vegetables by themselves they don't really taste that good, and why would that be? Um, because they don't want to be eaten. It's not like a part of their, like as whereas a fruit has seeds in it, and a fruit wants you to eat it so you can plant their seeds, and vegetables aren't the same thing. And so, you think about a lot of the vegetables you need to eat. Um, you need to really dress them up, or cook them, or put a bunch of salad dressing on them, or
Mm-hmm.
these different methods to make them palatable. And so that's kind of like, and per him, Paul Saladino, that's kind of a indicator that yeah, maybe you should think about that. Maybe there isn't as many. Maybe there's something to that fact right there that they just don't taste super great if they're by themselves. But
Well, and
neither does
I
neither
like
does
the
meat.
idea that it causes inflammation. Like your body, it doesn't necessarily jive with your system, which I went to a health retreat when my daughter graduated high school in Hawaii for 3 weeks, and I did hydrocolonics. I did ERT. It was like a full head to toe body, spiritual, mental kind of retreat, and it was in Hawaii, so I got to go snorkel every day. It was amazing. But it was a raw vegan. So it wasn't even just vegetables. It was like no cooked anything. And
Right.
it was pure torture for me for
Yeah.
3 weeks to just be eating raw vegetables that tasted terrible. And
Right.
so I was expecting, like, okay, I'm going to have rapid weight loss because I'm not eating the meats and the carbs and all the other things. And my body barely budged for 3 weeks, even though I had cut out coffee and sugar and carbs and all the things that would normally say, oh, you should probably drop 20 pounds just from doing that alone. It didn't. It barely altered how I looked at all. And yet I was as miserable as you could possibly be with the diet.
Yeah. Yeah. So something that Paul Saladino says is, yeah, there's the plants have defense chemicals, so they don't want to be eaten. So there's certain toxins that are being released into your body, and how that can create a lot of like gas, I think is the theory. So you can make you like gassy and upset your digestive system. And yeah, so that makes sense, as why you didn't feel like you were losing any weight. But it doesn't sound like probably a very well balanced diet, right? You didn't have much protein. Um, but
It was pure
anyways,
torture. It was pure torture. Like I was so miserable, and I couldn't have coffee. Like, oh,
mhm,
those aspects were crazy. Now, if I went to a health retreat where all they fed me was like how I'm eating now, just dairy and meat and some fruits, I would be stoked. And I'm really happy because I feel like, especially since I've been on 75 hard, I haven't been on semaglutide. I've been pretty much sort of intermittent fasting, but not to the degree that I used to. My discipline hasn't needed to be at the level that it was. And I eat when I'm hungry, even if it's later at night or earlier in the day. But I stick to those food groups, and I've been able to maintain my muscle, my strength. I've kept my weight off. Like, it jives with my body so well that it doesn't even feel like I'm on a diet. It just feels like this is a lifestyle. And I'm just stoked. Like, imagine like figuring out your whole life that what you love to eat the most is actually the best thing for you. It's like, wow, cool.
makes sense. Yeah, just stick with it.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, I am. Why would I change at this point? Except, like you said, then when you get your blood drawn, you have doctors who don't believe the same way, who are like, whoa, 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 that's a red flag. Look at your cholesterol. It's kind of high. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, okay. But I'm really healthy. So why does it doesn't matter as much as we are saying that it matters.
Yeah, exactly. The biomarkers and things like that can, yeah, something like cholesterol definitely turn heads. But yeah, I haven't been eating a whole lot of vegetables for a while now, and um, one of the big reasons is I don't really like it. I don't know,
Same.
And then when you have that kind of information, like, well, maybe you should think, put this in a different perspective. Yeah, with vegetables, maybe they don't want to be eaten. Maybe maybe they don't taste great for a reason. Things like that helps me at least make that decision. And I'll have some broccoli every once in a while. We make some like burnt broccoli, like lemon, and you know, and that seems to be pretty good. But
I like
it's not like
mushrooms. I like all the different, like the trumpet mushrooms, the big mushrooms. I really like mushrooms. I also like sweet onions. But that's about it for me. I mean, I'll
onions.
eat an artichoke every now and then. I'll eat asparagus once in a while, but
Mhm.
that's about it. I don't really
Asparagus,
love any of the other stuff.
yeah, yeah. I've been yeah, and then I'll have like some different types of fruit. Yeah, like zucchini or
That's not fruit.
yeah, it is, I think, right?
No, I mean, I know tomatoes a fruit. I think zucchini's a firmly a vegetable for sure.
Let's
Are you
see.
looking it up?
Yeah.
I hate zucchini. It's like, well, I love zucchini bread, which is odd. I love zucchini bread, but I'm not a zucchini. It is a fruit, April? That's so weird. When did it become a fruit? When did that become a thing? Yeah.
It's technically a
So
fruit.
does that mean pumpkin is a fruit?
I would have to look it up.
Because I have my claim to fame this week. I figured out how to make amazing keto pumpkin soup. Yes. So I am
It is
staying
a
with my
fruit.
diet plan, even though I've added pumpkin into it because it's technically a fruit and not a vegetable. Huh. Who knew?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of them like that where you're like, oh, that's a vegetable, and it's like, technically it's a fruit.
That's so weird.
There's
I
a few other
never thought
things like that,
zucchini.
like squash.
Is it
That's
a fruit
fruit.
as well?
Fruit.
I still don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be eating squash or zucchini or eggplant or any of
You could
those.
make spaghetti squash. So that's like a
No, I can't. I don't like it. I'd rather eat. Okay, well, what about this? Potatoes.
Yeah. What about him? It's like
Fruit,
a legume or
vegetable,
something.
starch, fruit, vegetable starch. So, for example, like I feel somewhat okay eating sweet potatoes, but is
Yeah.
that because it's not technically
Potatoes
a
are vegetable,
vegetable?
starchy vegetable.
So it is a vegetable, but it's starchy.
Yeah, that's what the internet says.
I do like sweet potatoes. I do like regular potatoes, like in French fries. I like French fries a lot. It's your weakness, April. Yeah, I have a weakness. I mean, I can't I have them around or smell them without wanting some.
Oh, so sweet potato is still a starchy vegetable.
It's a vegetable. Yeah. So sweet potato is it is a vegetable. All
Mhm.
right. Well, good to know. However, I think if you were to slice it up and air fry it without all the oils, it's probably not as bad for you as obviously McDonald's French fries or something.
Yeah. Yeah, air fryer is the way to go, I
Yeah,
think.
well, so that brings up an interesting point. Again, we're swinging it back to America and our healthcare system. So when I was growing up, big treat once a month, we go to like fast food, McDonald's or Burger King. The fries were like the most amazing thing. The burger is amazing. Fast forward and like the quality now, I think it was you and I that were talking about. Like it's not just potato, salt, and oil. Now they have an ingredient list like this for just French fries.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's not even just the bad oils anymore. It's all this other stuff that they add to it for whatever reasons that have swung it so far away from its original, like, I guess, recipe.
yeah, it's got a lot of different things going on in McDonald's fries. Vegetable oil, canola, corn oil, soybean oil, hydrogenated soybean oil, natural beef flavor derived from wheat and milk,
Why do
derivatives,
you need beef flavor in a French fry? That's so bizarre.
dextrose, sodium acid, uh, phosphatate or something, to maintain color, salt, and I feel like I'm getting a not the full list here.
Yeah, it seems like a very condensed list,
It
but
does, because I know there's a lot more ingredients,
yeah,
uh, but even that's a lot. I heard there was like three ingredients in the salt,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's just yeah, they just changed it, make it cheaper, make it last longer, make it taste better,
It does
make it
not
more
taste better.
addictive,
It
make
does
it
not taste better. I
addictive.
think I broke maybe a year and a half ago. I wasn't feeling good, was craving some comfort food. I door dashed some McDonald's and I like, oh, I just can't wait for that McDonald's fry. And I'm like, dude, this isn't like what I remember it to be. This isn't even that good. And then I just felt bad, not only physically, but mentally that I did it. But it does not taste the way it used to taste when it was just potato and salt and oil.
Yeah. Yeah, it's they've changed things, and they really try to get that as addictive flavor, that flavor that gets you coming back. And once you've eaten, changed your diet and you've had a stretch where you have been eating clean, really healthy, you really notice it. You're like, oh my gosh, this tastes so weird,
Yeah.
this tastes like, yeah, just fake. And you just like are a little bit more in tune with how like eating something like that makes you feel afterwards. You get that like lump of grease feeling in your stomach or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know, likely maybe a little brain fog and you feel slow. You
And
shouldn't
sluggish. Yeah.
feel yeah, you shouldn't feel slow after you eat anything.
Yeah.
Like it should be like fuel. You should feel like energized and ready to go, you know.
Yeah.
That's at least the way I look at it. Like I'm the type of guy that could, eat like 6 eggs and fried eggs and butter and have like some sourdough bread and a
Mm,
glass of orange juice, and I could just like jump into like a workout and be
mm.
fine, and not be like, oh my gosh, I'm so full, I can't work out. Um, but yeah, other people are different though, like the way food sits in your stomach. But I feel like for me, if it's the right food, then it sits well in my stomach, and I can do just about anything, with that fuel, that energy.
Well, and I agree as well that it's about the quality. So, recently I went over to Italy and Greece with my son for his graduation from college present ish. And, especially Italy, their primary food source is like a lot of pastas and pizzas and carbs and stuff that I've been trained on are bad, bad, bad for you. And but over there, I ate it every meal. I was on vacation. I'm like, this is where pizza originated. I'm going to try their pizza. I had fried pizza. I had every kind of pasta, breads with every meal. Amazing. Did not put on any weight. Never felt, like heavy or tired after a meal. And then I looked around and the whole country, people aren't overweight. They're not sluggish. They're not lazy. They're not inflamed from the food they're eating, and they're eating these carbs, but it's because they don't have like all those thousands of ingredients that we have back here in those particular foods that are causing the body to react negatively. So you can eat all the good things that you love, kind of like you and I are now like on this big organic sourdough trip. It's like we can eat carbs, but not have that reaction in our body that I always associated carbs with. It was just all the other stuff that they mixed in with the carbs that was creating that reaction in my body, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something about the way that they process their wheat. Um, well, there's with the way they grow their wheat, and other countries don't allow certain pesticides to be used. The big one in our country is glyphosate or Roundup, and then they genetically modify the wheat. So if it is sprayed with Roundup, the wheat doesn't die, but everything else around it dies. So that's the big thing with GMO wheat in our country. And then the glyphosate is, yeah, it's like a poison, and it just builds up in your body. And wreaks havoc apparently on your body over time. And it's like similar to like microplastics, like building up in your body over time. Not good. Um, yeah, and there's something with like the gluten and the way they process the
Mhm.
wheat overseas, and I think they are able to, or just with the way they process it, they remove more gluten from little things I've heard.
Yeah,
Um,
probably like the sourdough with the fermenting process. It takes out the gluten and leaves you with just the good stuff without the bad stuff.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've heard, yeah, a lot of other people say that too, about going to Italy and eating their carbs, their wheat, their pasta, and not having, nearly what they expect to. They're not, feeling like bloated, and and all those, symptoms, unwanted symptoms that people have when they, eat something like a lot of pasta. So um,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a treat for sure. I mean, I'm going to try to figure out how to replicate that back here because I do love Italian food. I'm not a great cook, but I do love Italian food. But, even going to nice restaurants in the United States, again, I don't know. Gosh, I almost just don't even like eating out anymore just because the same thing. When you're super regimented and your body's super clean, when you eat out, even if it's a nice restaurant, depending on the oils they cooked or the ingredients they put in there, unless they're like high and super organic, which places aren't usually utilizing because they're making bulk amounts of food, not, such a small amount that is really expensive to do all organic like that. But then if they don't, then you definitely feel it in your body. It's getting slipped in there somehow, some way, either through the oils or the seasonings or the toppings, the dressings, the process, the meat, like it's just in all those places.
yeah, most of the food for restaurants comes from the same place and Cisco. And so whatever they sell is what most restaurants get. And yeah, something like yeah, the pasta, like the noodles. Um, a lot of restaurants aren't going the extra mile. They're trying to turn a profit. They're not going to pay the extra bucks to, get organic. Maybe they're starting to. I think some are because people are starting to, to ask questions like that, like, oh, what are your fries cooked in, or things like that. So, certain places are opting for healthier oils and things like that, but it's still not the norm at all. And
No. And then the price point is so high. Like by my house, Cafe Sparrow went out of business because I don't think that they could charge what they were paying for the ingredients. Like, because food costs have gone up so much, gas, food, that in order for them to even try to turn a profit with quality food, they have to charge like 50, 60, 70 bucks a plate. And people can't afford that.
yeah,
When you add in that plus the tax and the tips and the, appetizers, drinks, whatever you're adding to it. And so it's almost like they've got priced out of existence by trying to do the healthier, right things to survive. Like they just couldn't make it.
it's it's likely. Yeah, not sure what the story of Cafe Sparrow is, but who knows?
Mhm.
Yeah, it could be something like that for sure. And yeah, restaurant business is tough,
It is.
especially you know. Um, I mean, I haven't eaten many meals at restaurants in the last couple of years. Yeah, mainly because I have my set meals and trying to fuel my body with good fuel so I can be a good athlete you know to a degree where I'm improving, which is fun. But yeah, hopefully we get some changes. I don't know if like seed oils will be banned uh in the
Right.
future, but it would be amazing if they were, because I think they're super bad. Um I think they're, yeah, I mean, maybe we get some more research on it at the very least. How bad is
Yeah.
it?
Because I am wondering what could they possibly even do at this point? Like what changes could be made except maybe that just outlawing
Yeah.
foods that are deemed toxic, poisonous, detrimental to our health and well-being, and just outlawing all those from existence in the United States. That would be a good start. Education, I guess, would be a good start. I know there's also obviously from his body, you could tell RFK is really big into exercise, right?
Yeah.
Or that sort of thing. So hopefully some sort of push in that direction.
Yeah, exactly. Like a new exercise program for high schools or
Mm,
middle schools, things like that, and like a new benchmark tests, maybe. I mean, they used to do that in the past, right? There's all
mm,
those videos of like when uh, you know, JFK was president, there was like these fitness tests, like being able to do 18 push-ups or this many
mm-hmm.
pull-ups,
Yep.
things like that, like is the standard. So hopefully we see something like that too. Um, that'll be exciting and good for me because I got a 5-year-old kid, and hopefully he grows up in a world like that where it's cool to be able to do those things. He's already exposed to it because of me and being into CrossFit and stuff. But it'd be it'd be nice if it was, yeah, like part of the big picture.
I enjoyed seeing those videos that Mandy sent you while we were at Aftershock, and your son was with another boy. I think they were doing burpees. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
God, that's so cool. I love that. And he's
good
just like, he
burpees.
doesn't look at it as like, punishment, torture, or bad. It's just like, hey, this is another
Yeah,
fun
there's
thing I'm doing.
something I can do with my body, and it's definitely not easy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah. He can do some squats, burpees, lunges. Uh, getting better with push-ups. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, here's what I'm hoping, and it reminded me last night. So every Tuesday, I coach at the center with the staff and the clients, and we've been working on deadlifts. And so it was actually cool because a lot of the clients have been there for over a month. So this is like a progression, a deadlift progression. This is week 6. So they've every week we go in there and lift a little heavier and a little heavier. And I shout at people the whole time I'm in there coaching, but I'm like, hey, who else could go to rehab as an addict and come out, healthy and fit and all this? And like everybody was like, no way, no way. I thought I would come to rehab and leave strong, healthy, feeling good. Like every rehab should be like this. No rehab is like this. And it was just like, for me, it was super cool because that we I think are leading the pack when it comes to health, fitness, and nutrition as a rehab. And that could be something that's sort of pushed with this new movement of making America healthy again. Is why not? Let's look in places like rehabs and stuff like this and get health, diet, exercise, knowledge about correct health into different places, either through schools or like through us or healthcare providers, like good information for people to make decisions, but then also the ability to be able to do it.
Yeah. I think what we do is super special,
Yeah.
having CrossFit in the program and really making that a mandatory step, not CrossFit, but just health and exercise as like a focus. Like these things are needed in order for
Yeah.
you to, keep your mental health and your physical health in good shape so you can stay sober. It's definitely, I mean, the fact that we use CrossFit is very unique and it's super cool. It's definitely a niche of ours.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was really cool. There was a girl in there, and I did the fitness comp with her 2 weeks ago. She's fairly new. She's been with us maybe 30 days. Never worked out in her entire life. I would say she's like mid 30s or something like that. Got into it, started liking it. And we were doing deadlift last night. And she's like, oh my gosh, when I first got in here, I couldn't even lift that barbell up, which is 35 pounds. And she was deadlifting 125 last night. I kept just having her add more weight, add more weight. I was like, look, as long as you keep talking, she's chatty. I'm just going to keep adding more weight because that tells me you got more in the tank. And she just kept talking. And then we reached a point where she wasn't talking anymore. I'm like, okay, this is now we're actually getting to your capacity. But she was like, oh my gosh, I never in a million years thought I could lift 125 pounds. And it happened fast. This was like within 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's just amazing, like with consistency, how quickly you don't need years. I mean, obviously to look like you do, you would need years, but just to be overall healthy and fit, it doesn't have to take a long time with consistency and correct knowledge of your body and what to put in it and how to move it and that sort of thing.
Yeah. I love hearing stories like that. Well, that's so cool. Barely could lift the bar and then, just take away the drugs and alcohol, focus on, just hitting the gym consistently
Yeah.
and the body bounces back quick and it can get relatively strong pretty fast.
Really fast. Yeah. She was so proud. She's like, Angie, I've already looked up, because they're working on their continuing care program while they're still in the program. Like really from detox, they're already planning what they're going to do when they leave. It's just part of the process so that they're very prepared when they are out of here. But she had already looked up CrossFit gyms in, gosh, some town in Tennessee that she came from. And she was like so stoked about it because the other thing about CrossFit, and I'm going to go back to what Greg Glassman told me when I asked him about, obesity in the country and the pandemic and alcohol and what he thought like the worst thing that, is the common denominator. And what he said, and now what I'm seeing, and well, not now what I'm seeing, we've seen this all along, it's that sense of community and belonging and accountability. That's what's the coolest part about CrossFit. And so like I always tell the clients, like, yeah, you could go back to your Gold's Gym and put in your headphones and do your own thing and, put your head down and do the work. Okay. but it can be so much more than that. And you can get so much more out of it than that. And it becomes like a group activity, a fun activity. We're in this together kind of thing, looking out for each other, pushing each other, helping each other. It's just such a, there's so much to community and our health that I don't think we've done a lot of studies on, but I think we should do a lot more of, because I think that is a missing thing. Like you think about PE for kids, it's like, okay, they're all doing it together, so it's successful. So how about we build community into working out, so it's not such a solo activity it's just harder.
Yeah, we play sports most of the time together or against people. So you play hard. Why not work out together or against people, right?
Yeah.
That same kind of, pull that competitive edge out, which, translates into, building more muscle, pushing yourself to limits you didn't think you had, which, then drives adaptation and a lot of great stuff. Yeah, it'd be cool to see more studies on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Community.
Community. Yeah, it's cool. I was talking with Mike, he's our lead admissions guy, and he has a teenage son, and he's been doing 75 hard. He actually started it before me this time. And his biggest win from that is that it's created this workout with his wife. Like they'll go walk every night. The gym, he'll go lift weights, heavy weights with his son at the gym. And it pushed him into doing these almost community type exercises with his family, which has brought them closer together, more bonded. He feels better. He looks better. He's motivated now. He wants to get shredded at, 45 or whatever he is. And a big part of that was the community aspect of really like bonding with his family while working out and doing these things.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crush.
He's crushing it. I mean, I like it. When you're doing 75 hard, you work out twice a day. So it's almost impossible for me to work out with somebody every time I work out. In fact, it's not actually that often, but I do enjoy that aspect about it when I am able to work out with the group and the team. It pushes me harder, makes me want to do more. And it's a lot more fun. It doesn't feel like something I have to do or work or something like that. I'm fully in the moment. I'm just part of it. It's a great thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you do that as well. I know you will coach and then, work out with classes and things.
Yeah, I'll hit class. I like to every once in a while just to get the just that environment, and it's fun working out with new people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I always push myself harder. If I'm doing something by myself, I'll dial it back significantly. It's much there's more even if I'm beating somebody that like in a workout that's for time, even if I'm beating somebody that I know I could beat in a workout, it's still like it just brings a little more out of you, um and then it brings people together. You shared that experience together, right? So there's that like lasting bond, like you did this super hard thing together,
Yeah, absolutely.
which I think like there's that like mutual respect, like whoa, that was hard, and yeah, we did it together, and there's like a connection formed just from that alone, and
Yeah.
that's gonna probably one of the many things that happens when you work out together with people.
Yeah. I mean, the last 2 months I worked out with two different clients, and, we instantly, we did the workout together. We bonded. One client I won with, the other I didn't because she was brand new. It didn't matter. And it was so just fun to be in there and doing the work together, and getting the benefits out of it. It was winning or not winning. It was still it's just such an awesome experience for sure.
Yeah.
And I believe a huge cornerstone to our health. It's like it releases those feel good chemicals, which makes us feel better, which makes us do better, which makes us look better, which helps us push more, pushes us outside the comfort zone, which is where the growth comes from. So there's just like such an amazing amount of benefits that can come from things like that.
agree. 100%.
Yeah.
Good things coming, I think,
Yep.
for the health of this country. You know, I hope it's just not all talk and we see some real action. You
We
know,
will
going
see.
circling back to the RFK and healthcare, and I'm excited. Yeah.
Yep. Same. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, Tom. I know you and I could talk endlessly about health, nutrition, fitness,
Yeah.
all the things, but I think it's a good day for our country. Like you said, if they follow through with what's being promised, this could be a turning point for the United States where we're no longer the unhealthiest people. We are not only in the best country, but we are also the healthiest country. That would be phenomenal. Like our healthcare, like symptoms and health related problems would like go down so much. Like it would just, which is going to improve our mental conditions and everything else. It's just going to be amazing to be able to see that.
I agree. Let's make it happen.
Awesome. Right on, dude. All right, let's we'll talk soon. We'll reconvene next week.
Sounds good. All right.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Tom.
All right. Have a good
See ya.
one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.